One thing that I would definitely like to see regarding Mortal Kombat 11 is an increased difficulty in the story mode or the campaign at higher levels. There was really no endgame in Mortal Kombat X, and once you got to the final tower, it was basically a cakewalk to farm. And for the love of God, please don't make story like Injustice 2. Alright, so basically what I mean for the campaign in Injustice 2, it's very lackluster, and there really isn't much to it. Like, there's 24 fights in each chapter, but you only get to fight 4 of them on farm, and that just makes absolutely no sense, and it just makes the gameplay super boring, because, for example, we have this fight here, and if we use our strongest 3, not only are we going to destroy this content because of a certain stat called defense, but this is the end game in Injustice 2, and because of the energy system, you can't actually farm the game infinite. I think this is one of the things that Injustice 2 should learn, that everything in the game just costs way too much. One of the things I must say that I do love about Marvel Contest of Champions is the fact that they have a bunch of complex paths that also require you to do certain objectives, and I would like to see something like this in Mortal Kombat X where you fight various opponents of various power, because I feel that the way that they handled Injustice 2 is even lazier than Mortal Kombat X and Injustice 1. And I also like the fact that Marvel Contest of Champions has where you're playing with people of various star levels, and it's got the heavy attack and the swipe. I do like the fact that they have the ranged attacks in Injustice 2. I think that's a nice little twist. It's something that Transformers Forged to Fight also adapted on down the road. But as you can see here by my roster at the 1 month mark, let's take 4-star Wolverine as a good example. So we have a 4-star Wolverine who's only ranked 2. But there's also a 3-star Wolverine, which I don't have, a 2-star Wolverine, and all the way down at the bottom, there's also, somewhere on here, there's a 1-star Wolverine. There it is. So I like this system versus the one that Injustice 2 incorporated where everybody has a star level. I really like this system better. And it's kind of like the bronze, silver, and gold within Mortal Kombat X, Injustice Gods Among Us, and WW Immortals Rip in Peace. But I really like this system because it allows you to customize characters, and also with other game modes, it's just a much better experience. So if we go back into Injustice 2, the third thing that I hope that Mortal Kombat X does incorporate is kind of an equipment system for every character. Overall, minus the non-customization of like special gear like Injustice Gods Among Us has, I really like this setup because it allows you to customize your characters. I'm not a huge fan of the defense and resistances, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I like the fact that you can re-roll a stat and you can get different stats to actually incorporate your character. So if a character is based on a certain playstyle, I really like that. And in Mortal Kombat X, that game adapted kind of like the class system, although there were no advantages and disadvantages. And I really hope that Mortal Kombat XI retains that functionality. And speaking of towers, overall, I really do like the whole tower system. And there is also a Shao Kahn's tower that comes around where you can get exclusive characters. I really like that. I really like Relic Hunt. And I also really enjoyed quest mode in Mortal Kombat X because you can get souls, which is like a premium currency for free. Injustice 2 also has this with operations. And I really think this is going to be good for the free-to-play players. And I would like to see full-blown characters available and not just shards. Maybe an option to get shards just by playing the game, but I would like to see full-blown characters available in the game. And considering it's going to have an internet connection, I don't feel this is a bad thing because you're going to need to be online to actually get those things. So it's a little bit different than my Android account, who does have different things unlocked, including the 2 really strong Day of the Dead editions of the game. And yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a shard pack, but I would also like being able to see a way to actually farm in the game. I think that's one of the things that was really lacking in Injustice 2. Like, Injustice 2 wanted you to play Arena. However, the rewards were so bad after the Justice League Wonder Woman series, Mythic Wonder Woman, that it just was not fun at all. And furthermore, number 5 that I would like to see is no teams like this that saturate 95% of teams. Yes, there are now counters to this team, like, for example, Nightmare Batman. The new Aquaman is great for raids. Landing Armor Aquaman is super strong, but we do not need oversaturated teams like this in Mortal Kombat 11. Yes, there were super powerful characters like Slasher Jason Voorhees, Classic Scorpion, but you could get around those by playing well. This team right here is not good for the game, and I think it chased a lot of people away. Also, multiverse events that you see in the console version never showed up in the mobile version of Injustice 2. Another thing that I do like that Mortal Kombat X does have is this thing called talents. So, like in the offensive tree in Marvel Contest of Champions, you have talents that allow you to do more damage, allow you to open up more abilities. Like, there's a talent called Deep Wounds that makes bleed better. There's a talent here that makes your stuns last less. I think this would be a good thing to have in Mortal Kombat 11. There's also one that makes your stuns last more, which is also really good. And then there's the dexterity mechanic, which allows you to completely avoid ranged attacks and special attacks that have a ranged projectile. I think that's really good. And I really like the parry system. WWE Mayhem also had the parry system, which stuns the opponent. And I just think it would be really cool for the game to have that. And if we look at Mortal Kombat X, there's also the talent system, which has support, offense, defense, and you get different things about that. And one of the ones that I really love, it's in the offensive tree. I really love Outworld Scourge. Chance for a special 1 to cost no power. And I also love Adenius Champion, where a special 2 has a chance to cost no power. I really like some of the mechanics they used. Now, one of them that I really cannot stand is in the defensive tree called Revenant. This is kind of like the Astro Harness effect. We don't need garbage like this, and if we do, it needs to be on like an awakened ability or a duplicate like Luke Cage has Indestructible, Punisher has Indestructible. I don't think it needs to be a generic ability that everybody has, because it's just bad. There's also a versus mode, which is much expanded from the normal, and I really like the format of this because not only do you get win streaks, and not only do you fight stronger opponents as you get deeper into the milestones, but the rewards are also really good. Like, just for playing these multiverse events, you will get units, which is like the premium currency, souls in Mortal Kombat X, for example. And regarding multiplayer and arena / faction wars, I really like the format that Contest of Champions has, where if you're using 1 and 2 star characters, it makes them a little bit more relevant, because then you have a reason to actually level them up. Like, once you get gold characters in Mortal Kombat X, the only reason to level up silver and bronze is to do the challenges. Now, I really like the challenge system that they had in Mortal Kombat X, and I know that they're probably going to go with a shard system like they do in Injustice 2, but challenges in Injustice 2 are just boring. I would like to see longer matches that don't cost any energy, and maybe you'll get like a couple shards for completing the first battle. You'll get so many shards completing the second battle. Just something that takes more time and just feels more rewarding. For example, if you look at the challenges in Injustice 2, you basically fight twice and you get shards. Like, how challenging is that? Like, you can even sim the battles and it just feels lazy and it doesn't even feel fun. I personally like the challenge system that they have incorporated in Mortal Kombat X, how you fight with different characters, and it makes certain characters relevant, or even having like special tower events that you have to use 1-star characters. You have to use 2-star characters. Now, do you want to have 100 1-star characters and like 80 2-star characters? No, but there should be a good selection of those within the game. And I also wish that they would not have specific characters used in challenges if they go about this route, but this is how challenges should be. It should not be lazy and sloppy like Injustice Gods Among Us. And for higher starred characters, I'm actually a fan. One thing I am a fan of regarding Injustice 2, I'm a fan of the talent system. Basically, as you get a higher star character, you're going to have more passive talent to evade. I really think that they should have this system in Mortal Kombat 11, as I do feel it does give more customization. Like 1-star characters would have 1, 2-star characters would have 2, 3-star characters would have 3, and 6-star characters when they do come out have 4. We know that Injustice 2 adapted the 6-star system because Marvel Contest of Champions has it, and it wanted to stay relevant to the game, but the star system in Injustice 2 is far different from the star system in Marvel Contest of Champions, because there's this thing called gear that you could have a 3-star character be really powerful as long as you have level 60 and above gear. So it's a different level of customization. It's something that Mortal Kombat 11 will have to adapt to. Now, there is one thing that I would like to see, and this is number 9 on my bucket list. I would like to see interchangeable gear items to be equipped on characters, but I want it to be restricted to a certain star level. For example, we already have a system where in Mortal Kombat X, the diamond characters can actually equip 4 gear items. And
Aries.
I would like to see 3-star characters being able to equip one of these custom gear slots, 4-star characters at a later time being able to equip 2 gear slots, and 5-star characters being able to equip 3 gear slots. I think some of these gear items are really cool, and they don't need to be like overpowered, like 70% basic damage. Maybe it could be a smaller number, like 7% basic damage, 4.5% crit, and leave the area damage from Special 2 alone. Maybe they could have items that give you like a little bit of power generation, like maybe 2 to 3% power generation. A chance to steal life, I think, should be fine. Like, they had this gear item in Mortal Kombat X, and I think it was perfectly fine. Or even gear item like Batman Ninja Helmet that give you a 4% increase to your maximum health. If you have available power, your damage received is reduced. Chance to resist power drain. And for every 10% of available power, crit chance is increased by 1%. Something that, you know, is a little bit more fair and balanced that won't, like, overpower the market. And even Mortal Kombat X had a gear system called equipments. So, for example, like Ice Daggers could have a 5% basic attack boost. If you're running a Sub-Zero character, you have a chance to convert half the damage to health on a Special 2. And a 50% critical hit chance against enemies affected by freeze. I think that would be really cool. And then they could have epic gear items available out of a special currency like the Blood Rubies, a currency tied exclusively to Arena, kind of like Injustice 2 has the currency for Arena characters. I really think that they should bring that back and give people a reason to farm the Arena. So this gear item is super powerful, where you start with a bar of power. 20% attack boost might not be that powerful. I mean, I would love to beta test this stuff. Have me on as a beta tester in Mortal Kombat 11 mobile, and I would gladly give some feedback that is balanced. But I would love to see this style of gear brought back into Mortal Kombat 11, because I think it's a great system. I think that gear, and even the talents, are not overpowered. Like, a lot of the talents outside of Revenant are actually quite fine. But one thing that has been missing from Mortal Kombat X, and needs to be available in Mortal Kombat XI at launch: global chat. And not just Injustice 2, where you can only do it from the main screen. And it also took over a year to actually get this into the game. So you see that there's League chat and there's global chat. And this is really important because, like, if you're promoting your content, you're going to want to post it in global. But if you want to keep to your own league, alliance, whatever, you can do that. Mortal Kombat X needs to have this functionality at launch. But what also needs to happen regarding Mortal Kombat 11, I'd like to see the help feature where you can help people with quest energy. There's nothing like that in Injustice 2. Yes, there's dailies that do that, and I think the dailies are fine. But they also have the 22-hour events, they have 7-hour events, and they have things that you can complete. They also have alliance events that actually give you some really good rewards. Like, for example, in this one, you get something called a champion boost, where you can boost the attack and health of your characters by so much for 40 minutes, or even 10%. They also have ones where you can use items and you get various rewards. They have another 3-day completion where you can actually get 5-star shards, 4-star shards, and it's just a great way to get characters that, you know, you might not otherwise have a chance to get. And then as you place up in milestones, you can also get rank rewards where you can get various other things. It's just a much better system in my opinion. I respect NetherRealm for trying to think outside of the box. But you also need to take a look at the revenue that Marvel Contest of Champions is making versus Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat X, Injustice, any Batman game, even WW Immortals. Is that 30% of what that game is making? No. Because nobody likes the star system in Injustice 2. And a lot of people got chased away from the game because it's been over a year and they have done absolutely nothing to fix the garbage arena system that plagues Injustice 2. And by that, I mean having the season rewards being Elite 4 being like the top 1%. Well, Elite 4 in this game is like rank 300. That's not acceptable. I think it needs to be like the 5,000 that it used to be. And if you don't have that, maybe merge arenas. You know, actually do what the community wants you to do rather than what you want to do, because it's not making you any money. All it's doing is pissing people off and turning people away from the game. That's not saying I would enjoy Arena anymore in its current state, because the rewards are just not worth the effort. Yes, you get a bunch of gems for playing the game, but everybody at rank 200 and above gems. So the gems are irrelevant. It does absolutely nothing for the game. And my problem with a lot of NetherRealm games is the fact that they're supported for about a year, and then they're just left on life support. Like, the last thing that Injustice 2 had updated was Leagues. What Leagues did over a year ago, it added a mode called Rating, and I know that I haven't been playing, which is why people have been leaving, and I really don't care because Injustice 2 is a bad game. But the only things that they added into the Leagues is missions. You get 30 gear shards and 3 league credits. Is anybody going to bother with this? No. As you can see, it's been 18 hours and 4 people have used a metahuman hero. Like, I like this fact that they're giving out like quests and little random things for people to do. Why not give out premium currency for doing that? That would be a much better solution. And the shard exchange, I actually like that feature except when it crashes the game. But something that needs to be done that was not done in any of the NetherRealm games. Have a mail system. Be able to mail your friends. Like, be able to communicate with your friends. You know, you have friends on your list. You have to communicate with them in your alliance. This is 2019, not 2013. You should be able to message people within the game. And you should be able to just have a friends list. You know, people that matter should be on your friends list. So you have a bunch of contacts. Like, you have people in your alliance, and you're going to have a bunch of people that are not going to join up. So I'm supposed to communicate with How To Computing through chat. I'm supposed to communicate with Elfiki through chat. I'm supposed to communicate with Star and Sky. God bless him. I would never invite him to my friends list ever. I'm supposed to communicate with him on Twitter, which he never responds to. I'm supposed to communicate with him on YouTube, which he never responds to unless you give him money. I mean, seriously. There needs to be a system like this in Mortal Kombat 11. There needs to be a way to communicate with people in the game. Not just in social media, not just in Discord. Something to give that real-time feel that actually means that, you know, people give a shit about you. People that realize that alliance matters. We have these 30 people in the alliance, and some of them I work with. I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be trying out Mortal Kombat 11, and Injustice 1 hung on for 5 years because of the community. I would be really surprised if Injustice 2 hangs on as long as Injustice 1 did. Something will have to give at some point where more people just stop caring about Injustice 2. And Mortal Kombat 11 is going to be that test for it. So, NetherRealm, it's in your court. Are you guys going to fire Tyra Lansdowne? Are you guys going to hire me to do game testing and give feedback as an ambassador? Are you guys going to do the right thing and actually care about your community? You guys do not communicate on Reddit. You guys do not communicate on Twitter. What's it going to be? Are you guys going to stop doing what is not working and do what is working? I hope that the top 10 things that Mortal Kombat XI needs for it to succeed has suited you well and has not been too boring for you guys. Have a wonderful day, kids.
www.youtube.com/HollywoodShono. Subscribe, bitches!